Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about building an email list and why it's so darn important. We've been talking about this all week. Today I'm going to be doing my free masterclass for you guys. We had a lot of requests for replays, and we didn't schedule replays, so we're like, oh, we'll just do it live. So the focus will be primarily for those who are just getting started with list building, or you have what I call fits and starts with list building, where you started, but you really don't have, you're not where you want to be with list building. When I say list building, I mean an email list. And everybody has heard it, the money is in the list, but so often it goes in this ear, it rattles around in our head, and it comes out the other side. We don't do anything to make sure that we take care of something that's super important in our businesses. So as you guys are coming in, just give me a shout out. Where are you today? Where are you and what is happening? It is a lovely day. It's a little overcast here in Virginia, but it's the temperature is pretty nice. I think I could even walk out with my flip-flops on. This Florida girl wears her flip-flops all the time, or some fuzzy house shoes, one of the two. Anyway, hey Julie, glad you're here. So trying to get a little bit of a feel for where everybody is. Where are you in your list building journey? Have you started a list? Are you not quite sure you want to? Love to kind of get a feel for where everybody is. Hey, Connie, good to see you. So glad you're here. If you're brand new, never been on one of my shows before, my name is Kim Garst. I am the creator of List Building to Profit and many other online training courses. I've done a lot of training courses, literally hundreds in my time that I've been had an online business. I'm a best-selling author. I have a large social media community, but really what I'm passionate about is helping people shorten their learning curves. Things that have taken me a long time in my business to implement and figure out. I love sharing how I did it and how you can do it faster than I did it. So Julie is saying small but targeted. Absolutely, exactly what you want, Julie. Just more of that, right? Connie is saying started but not consistent in emails yet. We've got Carolyn from Destin with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Megan says she's got about 600 people on her list. Good, that's excellent. Laura, so I am from Tampa, Florida. I don't know if you guys know that or not. I'm currently in Virginia taking care of my 96-year-old dad. He needs 24/7 care right now. So we've been, trying to take care of that. But I do miss my Florida weather, especially like right now in the winter. It's always my favorite time of the year. This Julie's Phoenix, Carrie, great. I'm so glad you guys are here. Now, if you know somebody, I have a quick favor. If you know somebody that would get benefit, that they're a business owner, they're an online business. They don't necessarily have to be an online business owner. Obviously, we're online right now. But if they're a business owner and you feel like they would get value from knowing the value and how specifically to grow an email list, a targeted email list, would you sprinkle this out into the world? I'm using my friend Molly's term. She calls it sprinkle instead of that other S word. Or just tag somebody down under here and let them know that we're live, that we're doing this, and invite them to join us. Okay. All right. So, thank you. Thank you, Connie. Yeah, I'm super passionate about sharing what I know. So today, like I said, this will be it's kind of a little bit longer than I've been going this week, but I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen, and we're going to get started. Like I say, this is a free masterclass on how to build an email list. From scratch. If you are just getting started with your list building, then this will be super value based. If you are have already started and you are still not quite sure how it ties to the money, this is going to be super value based. If you feel like your list is not where you want it to be, or you're not quite sure that you're emailing your list when you need to, again, this is going to be helpful for you. Okay. So I think that the content will be something you're going to really enjoy and get some value out of. All right. Also, I want to say real quick, I do have Rhonda, my integrator and the CMO, in the comments. So she is going to be answering questions as we go. So feel free to ask any questions you have in the moment so that you don't forget about them. Okay. I'll also take questions at the end. So definitely make sure that you ask your questions. We'll make sure we get them answered on our side. Okay, so I want to kind of, like I said, I love getting litmus tests for where everybody is. And I spell yes like I say it. So feel free to drop in yes spelled correctly if you want to. That's totally okay. But let me know if you started your business so that you could have more time and financial freedom. Most of us do. Most of us start our businesses thinking we're going to make a lot of money and then we're going to have time to do everything we want to do in our lives. And yet we end up with less time and in some cases less financial freedom than we anticipated. So if that's you, drop that in. I'd love to know. Like I say, there's no judgment here because a lot of us, I think, start here and in some cases find ourselves in these boats over and over again. And let me know if you are tired of struggling to grow a business that generates enough money to make this business that you're trying to grow worth your while. I mean, how many times have you said, well, geez, I've made this amount of money this month. And if I divide that by the hours I've spent by the amount of money I've made, I could probably work at McDonald's, if that's you, let me know. And let me know if you need your own people. You need to have a community of people that want what you have to sell, what you offer, the value you bring, but you just don't know how to do it efficiently or have had what I call a lot of fits and starts, which is just you get started with it, you think you're on a roll, and then, you just stop. The consistency factor, you give up in some cases, or it's just not as much of a priority as you would want it to be. So I want you to sit with this for a second, and I want you to soak it in, and I want you to breathe it in, because this is the crux of this training. Can you imagine having a business asset that will create sales for you anytime you want? I mean, what would that feel like? Like if you knew you had an asset, a business asset that would allow you to put an offer out to that list, and a percentage of those people would say yes to it. Would that be amazing? Would that be something you don't have right now? So feel free to let me know your thoughts on that. I'm specifically interested in what would it feel like if you had that, because I want you to really soak that in, and I want you to think about it and let it really, jumpstart your need or desire, or maybe it is a desire, because this is going to require a little bit of a mindset shift for you. But still, if you had it, what would that mean to you? I'd love to get your feelings on that. And like I say, if you don't know me, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kim Garst. I've been online almost 30 years. Golly, every time I say that, it sounds so ridiculous because it doesn't seem like it's been 30 years. But I've built multiple 7-figure businesses over the years, all kinds of business models, online business models, from memberships to coaching to agencies. I've had several agencies over the years. So much of my online experience has been very varied. And I currently have a top-rated live show, Marketing That Grows Your Business. We do that every Monday at 10 a.m. It's all about how to market your online business. I currently reach over 100,000 people through email each and every week in an authentic, value-based way. And I've literally taught tens of thousands of entrepreneurs how to grow their bottom lines. I'm very passionate specifically about how to increase your revenue stream, or specifically your bottom line, but adding multiple revenue streams, and through a servant-based perspective. Like my motto is serve, don't sell. And I want to kind of paint a picture of what would happen if you woke up tomorrow and social media was just gone? Bye-bye. Now you may think, well, yeah, Kim, that's not going to happen. And I would say that social media is not going to go away. I just think it's going to shift constantly. That is the only thing that we can be assured of in social media is change. And with governments starting to get involved in, potentially monitoring or regulating social media, that is going to roll downhill. And if that happens, and how's it going to affect us as business owners? How are we going to connect and contact our peeps within social media if privacy continues to be a huge issue? And, there's now Apple apps where they're trying to block Facebook ads. And, so there's so much stuff that is happening right now in the social space that is adverse to us as marketers. So the better question, though, that I want you to think about is can you even consider your social media connections yours because you don't own them? Think about that for a second. Your email list is the most important number in your business because you don't own your fans or followers. We spend so much time, trying to build our social media communities, and yet there we go. It's just what it is. We don't own them. If Facebook decides to change something, like they do every day, then we are out in the cold again. They change things on us all the time. And so we need to really wake up and smell the list building coffee, y'all. Seriously, I know sometimes you come to these trainings and you're like, well, is this for me where I'm at in my business right now? So I want to share a few things. And if this is you, then you are in the right place. You're ready to grow a community of people that you can love up and serve, that you own, that you can connect with anytime you want, and that they are excited to see what you have to offer. You are in the right place if you are a small business owner with all sorts of great products and services, but when you put them out into the world, you post them on social media, it's crickets. Nobody pays any attention. You are in the right place if you are out there busting your behind on social media, trying to grow your following, only to discover that most don't even see what you're posting. Ugh. Can we say ouch already, right? And you are in the right place if you know you're meant for more and that you can make an impact, but you simply aren't sure you are doing things that will make that happen. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give away the ultimate freebie planning guide, because having a great freebie or a lead magnet or a ethical bribe, we'll talk about the definition of this in a moment, is one of the best ways to build your list. So I'm going to be giving away this ultimate freebie planning guide towards the end of today's training. So stick in there with me. And I wanted to share what I call my hide under the table moment, so that you understand that I have been you. Some of my first businesses, my first online businesses, were service-based businesses, and building an email list wasn't a thing then. It was like, it wasn't such a big deal. The way that I got new clients was either word of mouth, or I would go into business, AOL business chat rooms or B2B boards. That's how old I am and how far back I go, to, find out what people's needs were and to connect with people. So I've frequently told people I was doing social media before it was called social media because of those experiences. But when I took my business in the social media direction, and specifically decided that I was going to help others with social media, I got so busy trying to build my social media community, my fans and my followers. And I heard the money's in the list. Everybody says it. And like I said before, it went in this ear and, jumbled around in here a little bit and it came out the other side. I was not intentional while I was building my social media community. And that was a huge, huge mistake. But I didn't really make that connection until I got to a place where my revenue was capped. I had a successful business by all people's measuring sticks, but I had no more time to sell. So I was like, okay, how can I shift this dynamic? And I knew that I needed to be able to learn how to do the digital marketing pieces. not just the social media marketing pieces. So I joined Digital Marketers War Room, which is a high-end mastermind, to learn all this stuff. And I'll never forget the very first meeting I went to. This was like 7, 8 years ago. I was in this room with all these 7 and 8 figure business owners, and the conversations that were happening around me were really intriguing. In some cases, they were talking about launches and how much money they were making and how big their email list was. And in every instance, the email list size was directly proportional to the amount of money that they were making. And I'm like, okay, so all these people were talking about, man, I've got a list of, 500,000 or 1 million, or this one guy had a list of 10 million people on his, and I'm like, well, nobody asked me what my list size is. Let me just slide under the table, because my list size was itty bitty, almost non-existent. And that was when I realized that if I wanted to scale my business, or I wanted to be able to make money without selling my time, I had to get serious about list building. So I went on to do just that. I've been there. I had no idea how to start, but I just dug in and I figured it out. And it took a while, I'll not lie, which is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about sharing what I've learned, so that you don't have to go through that same experience. And literally, I mean, the Digital Marketers War Room is like $30,000 a year. So I spent time with them. I was in their mastermind for about 6 years. And I soaked up everything I could. I implemented everything I could in my business. And now I share what I've learned through that journey. So this kind of gives you a bigger picture of what that looked like. So when 2007-ish, when I really got involved in social media, I was haphazardly list building. I had a little opt-in on my page, and so people would bump into it occasionally. But you can see when I started getting intentional, which was about 2013, and then my list size just continued to escalate. And I went on, once I figured it out and got intentional, I went on to grow my list by over 100,000 subscribers over the next few years, because I got to a place where I understood what it took to make that happen, and I implemented. And now I pop into over 158,000 inboxes each week with value-based stuff, with people that have raised their hands and said they want to hear from me. And my email list generates 95% of my sales today. So let me give you guys a startling well, keep in mind the 95% of my sales, right? My social media community is about 1.5 million right now. So I spent so much time and energy building my social media community, and yet my sales don't come from my social media community. They come from my list. So I want you guys to really hear that, because I'm not saying you shouldn't be on social media, not at all. But I'm saying you should learn a big lesson from my mistake, which is move your social media peeps, the people that you attract to you, to your list as quickly as possible if you want to make money. Okay. If you don't want to make money, then that's okay. But if you do, you need to. All right. So I want you to turn off anything that might distract you. No judgment here, like I said before, but if you're like me, you probably have 27, 28, 40 browser windows open right now. So I hope you'll really listen in, because this is going to be, if you embrace this, this is going to change your business forever. So a couple of stats for you. Did you know that on average, less than 6% of your followers and fans on social media are seeing your content? So we're spending all that time creating content and being on social and doing all the stuff that we think we should be doing. And yet so much of our content's not even getting seen. And that's a little disheartening. And I'm not sharing this with you to make you depressed, because social media still has value. But like on Facebook, it's even less than that. So on Facebook, the amount of people that are seeing your content is 1 to 2% if you're lucky. So if you have 100 fans on your business page, that's 1 or 2 people. Like, that's nothing. And let's assume that that's 1 or 2 people that maybe they're interested and maybe they aren't. So again, you have to connect with people for sure on social media, the right people, but you need to move them as quickly as you can to your list. And did you know that for every dollar you spend, email marketing produces $44 in return? So for every, who wouldn't trade? Let's just ask that question. Who wouldn't trade $1 Hey, here's $1 for 44. If I could give you $44 for the one, would you take that deal? Like, who wouldn't, right? So the other issue I think is super important to understand in the context of social media is we're competing with a lot of touch points when we are on social media. We're competing with our neighbors' kids' birthday party photos. We're competing with, videos and all this stuff that is, at literally at everybody's fingertips in the social space. And when you are sending an email to someone, it's 5 times more likely to be seen in someone's email inbox, and it's probably even more likely that they're the right person to be seeing it than if you are just posting on Facebook. That's a stunning thing to embrace. And 72% of people say they prefer to receive promotions via email versus seeing it in social. And if you think about it, people are on social for friends and family. They're there to connect. They're there to check out stuff that matters to them. Not all, and in many cases, they just don't want to be sold to in the social space, but they're okay with getting and hearing from people who they've raised their hands and said they want to hear from. So see the dynamic? It's totally different. And did you know that the average order value of an email sale is at least 3 times higher than that of social media? Ooh, wow, right? And this is no real, at least I don't think it's a real big knowledge bomb in the context of you may know it or you may not. I think most people know this by now, but Mark Zuckerberg has made it very clear that they're going to prioritize content from friends and family over business-related content. We're already seeing that in our news feeds, right? It's very hard to be competitive without paying to play on Facebook these days. Okay, if all that's true, then why in the world can we not get more people building an email list? Seriously. All right, let me give you some of the most common roadblocks that I see when it comes to list building. And this was certainly me. You hear all the chatter about email lists, but you have absolutely no idea where to get started. That was kind of me. I mean, okay, I need a freebie. All right, I got it. But I didn't have any strategies. I had no intention. And so I totally get this. If this is you, I totally understand. Maybe you feel like you're not uber techy, so you're worried that it's going to be too techy and you're not going to be able to do it. And nothing could be further from the truth, but I get it if that's also a pushback for you. Maybe you think that you must have a bunch of content ready before you start a list. Now, I got to stop the train here for a second and talk about this. If you are just getting started, you don't have anything for sale yet. Who do you think you're going to sell it to when you do get something ready? There is no place at any point in your business, if you, wherever you are in your business, that you shouldn't be list building. I don't care if you don't have the first thing to sell yet. You should be list building so that when you have something for sale, you'll have somebody to sell it to. Somebody that has raised their hand and said they're willing to, they want to connect with you. They're willing to hear or they want to be connected to the value that you're bringing to them. So you love them up in the meantime. You give them value in the meantime. You serve them in the meantime until you have something for sale. That way, when you do have something for sale, guess what? A percentage of them are absolutely going to want what you have. So there is no place at any point in your business where list building that you shouldn't be list building. Every business, even a prospective business, I'll talk about in just a moment. This is a biggie too. I see this a lot, where people say, well, I'm not sure what I send. What kind of, what am I going to email out to them? I'm going to give you some ideas in a moment, but it is definitely a fear monster for so many people. They're worried that once they get people on their list, what are they going to say to them? Okay. And then you have the traditional 9 to 5 or the JOB, I call it, and you're looking at your business like a side hustle. So you either have a business or you don't. A side hustle is a business, and you need to get serious about it. It goes back to number 3, which is, who are you going to sell your stuff to if you don't have the right people? So it's important to start where you are. So my hope before you leave here today with me and the time that you spend with me is that you are going to feel inspired to get busy growing an email list of the right people. Those that are going to be excited to hear from you. This is going to allow you to serve your person through email so that you can make a bigger impact and make more money while doing it, which is why we're here. And yet we're not focused on this, right? It's sometimes all the other stuff sidelines us from the things that really drive revenue in our business. So I want to give some tough love just real quick. And again, there's no judgment here. What 90 to 100% of people, entrepreneurs, and this is a pretty ugly stat, okay? And it's not every day that it's like this, but many days, 90 to 100% of entrepreneurs are spending a bunch of their time, sometimes upwards to 100% of their time, doing things in their business that does not increase revenue. Ouch, right? And then you've got about 20% of entrepreneurs who are spending time in their business to create revenue, but they're doing things in the wrong order because they don't know the right order. So think about it for a second and let me hear from you. What is holding you back? If everything I've said right now, you bought into and you're like, okay, she's right. I know she's right, but I've got this fear factor of, what am I going to send them or any other fear factor that you have. I'd love to know what you are up against when it comes to pushback. So Kathy is saying it's absolutely true about not increasing revenue as a nonprofit. It's true across the board, whether it's nonprofit or otherwise. Your list is super, super important. Okay, so like I said before, I hope you'll learn from my biggest mistake. Social media is a shiny object. I'm not saying you shouldn't be there at all. That's not what I'm saying. But for a lot of us, we've gotten so used to using it and leveraging it and trying to make it work for us because it's an immediate low barrier entry. It's like it's going to be the end all be all for us. It's going to create all these sales for me, and then unfortunately, that's not really where the money is. And I got caught up in this. At a ridiculous rate, especially on the front side of my business, where I was so focused on building the social media connections that I was not moving them to my list. Social media is super, super great for connecting, attracting the right person to you, but you got to move those people or as many of them as you can to your list. So take a screen grab of this and put it a sticky on your computer somewhere, and that will remind you that every day you should be doing something to grow your list. If you're connecting with someone on social media, how is it that you could potentially get them to say yes to something to get on your list? Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So it is a mindset shift because I get that. Like I said, social media is like this shiny thing over here. And you're like, oh, golly, I got to be there. I got to be there. Everybody says I got to be there. But when you move your social media community to your list, you can serve them so much better. Again, remember what I said about the fact that, most people aren't seeing your content versus how many more would see it if it showed up in their inbox, right? When you focus on growing your list at the same time that you're growing your social channels, this is the mistake I made. I was not doing that. So if you can focus and change your mindset and say, I'm going to focus on moving people at the same time I'm growing, then you'll have a plan. You can put a plan into place to actually turn them into paying customers. And no more battling the changes on social media. So in other words, it's not going to matter as much when Facebook decides to change their algorithm, or Instagram, which is going by the way of Facebook right now. When things change, it won't impact us as much because we're going to have a resource that we can still sell into, that we can still love up, a community of people who still want to hear from us. So there, again, I've said this several times, this is a no judgment zone, but I want to know where you are right now. Are you more focused on building your fans and your followers, or are you more focused on building an audience in a place that you own and will serve you and your business for years to come in a profitable way? I'm just curious as to where everyone is. Like I say, there's no judgment here. I've been on both sides of this fence, and some days I find myself back in the boat of, worrying about my fans and followers and not necessarily moving them. So totally understand that dynamic. Okay, so now that you know that 6% or less of your social media connections actually see your content, and you also know that email marketing is the number one way to drive more revenue in your business, it way outperforms social media, paid advertising, and even blogging, then why? Let's sum it all up real quick. You own your list, unlike your social media fans and your followers. You can communicate with the right people, meaning they've raised their hands and said they want to hear from you versus just posting something on social media and hoping that the right people see it, right? You can sell your products and services to those that say they want them or want to hear from the value that you bring to them. And you can build real relationships with people, really connect with them in a value-based way. And you can make that bigger impact that so many of us are after. Okay, so there's 3 simple steps to getting to your first 1K subscribers. Now, let's assume that some of you I know may already be at the 1K, but what can you do consistently to make sure that that number goes up? So we're going to be talking, these strategies will work across the board for anybody, regardless of where they are in their business, okay? So the first step is you need what I call an irresistible free offer. Now, there's a lot of terminology for this, different terms for it, a freebie, an ethical bribe, a lead magnet, but essentially it's just an exchange of currency. It's like the value that they have and that you want is their email address. The value that you have is whatever is going to bring them value enough that they're willing to give you their email address in exchange for it. I think the ethical bribe is a good way to say it because that's kind of what it is. But it's just a way of saying I have something that's value based to your ideal person. And they're willing to give you their email address for it. And think about it in the context of what would that look like and how we as end users, because when I market to my people, I always look at it from the perspective of how do I engage with content, or how would I purchase that? Because we are in some cases our ideal person is a previous version of ourselves. So think about it. Like we want to save money and get free shipping, right? So why wouldn't people trade their email for that? Especially right now over the holidays and stuff. I think a lot of us probably traded our email to get free shipping or get a coupon code, etc. Right? It works. Everybody's always excited about getting something free. People love free stuff. And in some cases, I think that the newsletter concept works, but for the average business owner, I think you do need something that's tangible. Tangible meaning it could still be digital, but something value-based that you can exchange for that email address. Nobody really wants to sign up to get more email in their inbox. I mean, that's just the reality of it, unless you're Oprah, and you send out the emails. But most don't want to just, hey, I'm just, I'm going to get, I can't wait to get emails from you. Right. So, it might work in some contexts, but for the most part, I think you're going to have to come up with something that's value-based to your person. And a freebie is meant to get targeted people, not just any people. So the number on your list, it's not about quantity either, by the way. It's about quality, the right people raising their hands and saying that they're interested in the value that you could bring their way. I've seen people do things like, giveaways to build their list. And they'll be like, okay, I'm going to be giving away an iPad. And who doesn't want an iPad, right? So everybody will join the list. But those people may not be the right people. Your freebie needs to be tied to your business in some capacity. So it needs to be related. It can't be something that's, everybody would want. You're trying to whittle down and find the exact people that are interested in what you bring to the table. Now, freebies come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. You see a lot of ebooks or guides or checklists or worksheets, but feel free to take a screen grab of this because there are a lot of ideas here. And this is just the mechanism of how you present it. I did a Facebook Live yesterday and showed you some examples of how other people were delivering or what they were, what their freebies were. And again, it's all just the delivery mechanism, the content. In other words, you could create similar content and present it in a variety of different formats. It's just a matter of taking, and in many cases, I would speculate that all of you have something that you could turn into a freebie already. You just haven't considered it in the context of how you could package it for your freebie. The key, though, is you want people to be wowed when they get it, because you want them to say, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. If she's or he is giving me this for free, then what is behind the paid door? So how do you make your free offer so awesome that people can't wait to get it? I mean, I've seen so many people think that they have to over deliver on their freebie. They're throwing the kitchen sink in there. That's not what you want to do. You want a quick win for your person. So a successful freebie is about those quick wins. You want them to be able to get results or solve a problem in some capacity very quickly. It's about solving one problem for them, again, as quickly as possible. And you want it to be consumed or implemented within a very short window of time. So people don't want to, get something for free and then it be overwhelming to them because there's no skin in the game for them at that point. You see, if somebody pays for something, there is an expectation that they're going to have to dig into it, right? But if it's free, they just want to get a quick win. And you want them to get a quick win because if they do, they're going to be more intrigued and more to see what's behind your paid doors. Okay. All right. So let me show you how this ties to the money. I think lots of times you think, or I certainly did, when you put something free out there, you're like, okay, I'm just giving away something free. Okay, I'm building my list. But actually, you can do more. Now, I don't want you to get hung up on this. So I want to quantify this right out the gate. If all you have is something for free, then get started with that. Don't wait to put all these pieces that I'm getting ready to lay out for you together, okay? So one of my top performing freebies is the 27 social media post ideas. It is an ebook that gives people ideas on what they can post on social media. And I've had this thing forever, probably like 7-8 years now. And it still gets opt-ins. I can't kill the thing. I've given it away over 100,000 times. And I probably gave it away at least 25,000 times before I had the next piece. So the next piece, and when I say the next piece, was the sales piece, meaning I started to offer to those 25,000 people something that they would purchase. And that was a mini course on how to create your own amazing social media content. And I've sold that between $7 to $27 over, the same period of time since I got it started, and created over $750,000 in sales from that. And by the way, this is an automated process. So if somebody says they'll take me up on the free thing, then they're automatically presented with this offer. And then they're also presented with the following offer, which is my Business Builders Academy. And I've sold that for $47 to $97 over the years. And I've made over $1.5 million in revenue from that. So this one freebie where I'm giving away something has created over $2 million in sales for me, 2.5 million actually. So when you can come up with something that's value-based to your person and start connecting it to things that you have for sale in your business, that's when you're going to really start seeing the revenue come in an automated way, where every day you wake up and there's PayPal notifications or Stripe notifications. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So step 2, you've got your freebie now. I've told you need one. Hopefully you can get one together. The next step is where I see so many people struggle, which is the promotion piece. If you've got something that's value-based to your person, you need to put it in front of them. You know, you need them to see it. You have to promote it. Promotion equals growth. And that just goes back to, you just can't sit on it. And so let me give you some ideas. Most people want to do this for free, and who doesn't? Like, it goes back to, we all love the free stuff. That's why freebies are so great to entice people to give their email addresses for. But here's some free ways to promote. Obviously, on your website, there's podcasts, social media, messenger bots, email signatures. I highly recommend that one. Business cards, speaking to networking events. You could be a guest on a podcast or a blog. Third-party sites are great. Video outros. Opt-in checkboxes on your web forms, ebooks, books if you have a physical book, support from colleagues, Facebook groups that serve your ideal person. There's just so many free ways, but none of the free ways matter if you don't use them. So this, again, that's what I see so frequently. So let's just pull out social media as one of those things real quick. So I see this a lot. So my students will come through the course and I'll say, okay, you got your freebie ready. You need to share it on social media, and they'll put it out on social media. And then they're seriously disappointed when nobody really takes them up on it, or maybe one or two people take them up on it. And they're disheartened. So I want to take that sting away from you right away. Remember what I said? If you have 100 people on your fan page, 1 to 2 of them are going to see it. So that's where consistently sharing your freebie has to happen. If you only get 1 or 2 people signing up, that's because only 1 or 2 people saw it. You have to consistently promote your freebie in a variety of different ways. And it does require intention. But once you get some of this stuff in place, it just will happen. You'll start to get opt-ins, from your website, from your video outros, from, speaking and networking events, or wherever you're intentional with your list building, it'll start to work for you. But you can't one and done it. You have to get out there and let people know that you have something value-based. You have to have a consistent traffic source or a way to get those eyeballs on your freebie. You can't wait for people to just bump into it, okay? So you can also pay to promote it. Like, this is probably the fastest way to grow your list. You can use Facebook ads. Pinterest is a great traffic source for freebies. LinkedIn ads, maybe not as much, depending on who your person is. They might be great. They're a little bit more expensive. So I don't normally recommend them unless your person is absolutely on LinkedIn and, you have a budget for it. Sponsored posts are a great thing. Sponsored emails are another great opportunity. Influencer marketing. Again, these are all paid opportunities, but in some cases you could even collaborate with people, trade potentially. Maybe you have a bigger social media community or a Facebook group, or you could reach out to a Facebook group, admin that is serving your ideal, a Facebook group that's serving your ideal person. You approach their admin and say, I've got this freebie, or this whatever it is. I wouldn't call it a freebie. I would explain what the value proposition is. And would you mind if I shared it? I think it would really bring your community a lot of value. So sometimes it's not always a paid promotion, but it's a collaborative environment as well. All right, step 3. And again, this is where I see so many kind of stumble around a little bit. You got to love up your people, guys. You got to serve them. You got to send them content that matters to them. And that content could be, can make their life easier, their business simpler, save them time and money, solve a problem for them in some way. I don't know about you guys, but I get a little sideways sometimes when I get on someone's list and I never hear from them unless they want money from me. They're trying to sell me something. Does that irritate anybody else? I mean, I know obviously that's a strategy and perhaps that works for them, but for me, it just feels a little not cool. And so I'm really big on the relationship side of building, using your list and really building relationships with your people versus, just buy from me, because I think that turns people off, right? So you got to show up in a way that's going to matter to people, essentially. And I told you before that I was going to give you some ideas on what you could send. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the relationship piece. A lot of what I'm sharing from an idea perspective right now is value/sales related. So in some cases, if you have physical products, for example, you could let people know when you have new products or you're having a sale, or you could ask for feedback on the products or poll your readers to see what they want. Set up abandoned cart campaigns. I think we all should be doing that actually, because people get sideways, they get the doorbell rings, or, the kids are hollering, or there's hockey practice to take them to, or, things just do get to a place sometimes where we get distracted. That doesn't mean they're not interested. So the sale is always in the follow-up. So having an abandoned campaign that's automated, so much of this can be automated is my point. So digital products, if you have a digital business, you could use your blog. That's certainly something I've done over the years, is leveraging my blog as value to give back to my community. You can test your opt-in ideas, of course, launch new products and services, run beta launches, conduct surveys, ask for feedback and testimonials. You can send, relatable style content, which I'm super big on. Let's say you have a brick and mortar business. Again, you can collect, and should be. Most brick and mortar businesses, unfortunately, are not doing this, or many aren't. I don't know if I would say all, but many are not collecting their customers' emails, and they should be, because you can communicate special events, sales, spotlight your customers, highlight new product lines, and above all, stay in front of your buyers consistently. I think that is super, super important, because think about it. If somebody says, yes, they want your freebie, or yes, they want to be on your newsletter, and you don't message them, or you don't send them an email for 6 months, trust me, they have no clue who you are when you show up in their inbox again. They've totally lost you. You no longer are in their top of mind, because you just haven't been there. And in fact, they may report you for spam at that point, because they're like, who is this person? So you need to be consistently giving value and connecting and sharing. And and that doesn't mean you can't sell to them. You absolutely can, but you have to show up consistently. So how do you do that? I think it's super important that you choose a time. Like, is it going to be weekly? Is it going to be monthly? I would recommend weekly, just to stay top of mind in some capacity. You can use existing content or other people's content. I do want to talk about this real quick. If you don't have a lot of your own content, like I talked about the digital piece and sending my blog. Well, let's say you're not blogging, and then you're like, okay, Kim, I hear you, but I'm not blogging. So what am I going to send? You can still send something that you feel is value-based to your person. It could be other people's content, but this is the key. If you're going to do that, you want to let them know why you felt like this was important to them, because you don't want to transfer your expertise away to someone else. So if somebody wrote a great blog post, let's say Social Media Today wrote a great blog post, and I wanted to send it out to my community, I would let them know, like, hey, this is a great resource. Maybe it's about this new platform, Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse is the latest and greatest. Everybody's talking about it. They had a great resource. I don't have that resource. So maybe I would send it out, and I would say to my community, hey, if you haven't checked out Clubhouse, you might want to, and this is a really great resource. This will give you a lot of details. I agree with this, but I don't agree with that. So you want to make sure that you give your expertise as a part of sharing other people's content. I think talking with your people, relatability is super key, and lead without the expectation of reward. That goes back to serve, don't sell. If you do that, I think you're going to be in a great place. So I have a question for you. Would you guys like to really dig in, commit to changing your mindset and moving your people from social to your list? So would you like to learn how to grow a highly profitable email list? One that likes you, knows you, trusts you. And when you say, hey, I've got something for sale, they're ready to throw down their credit cards. So who would like to do that? Like to be able to have that asset in their business? If that's you, then I'd like to not just encourage you, but I know well, I do want to encourage you, but I know everybody shows up for different reasons when it comes to these trainings, and you're here for a specific reason. Maybe you feel like you're just all over the place, and I think this happens to many entrepreneurs today because there's so much that's happening. This thing's happening, that thing. There's so many pieces and parts that go into building a successful business these days, and it's just taking you too darn long to figure it all out. Maybe you feel like you're stuck, you're just not making the amount of money that you want. You need the right people, but again, how do you get them? And maybe you're just overwhelmed by all the tech that comes with building a profitable online business. I know that is definitely a struggle for so many, but the options are, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can change it up. That's a beautiful part about understanding that maybe you've not been doing things right. Change it. You have the power to do that. And, that's option 2 is decide right now to start growing your email list, build an asset that you own and one that you can use to generate money whenever you need it. That's so much better than the alternative, right? So if this is intriguing to you and you're like, yes, I'm ready. I want to kind of introduce you to my List Building to Profit course. It's a proven step-by-step system that guarantees that you will grow and nurture your email list using simple strategies that I've used over and over again. They're time-tested. In this course, you're going to discover who and how to serve so that your list subscribers can't wait to get your emails, how to create an irresistible free offer fast, how to capture your ideal clients with a kick booty, high converting landing page, and actually learn strategies that you can use and how do you implement them, how to nurture your new subscribers, love them up and provide value to them consistently, including how to create a plan to do that so that you're not stuck in that lack of consistency space anymore. And then how to put your offer out with confidence, even if you've never written a sales email in your life. What I said before about some entrepreneurs are doing the right things in their business, they're just not doing it in the right order. And I think that's the problem with so many things. When we're trying to learn something new, we don't know the steps. So that's what the List Building to Profit gives you. It gives you a step-by-step, start here, progress to the next thing. So you plan, you create, you attract, you engage, and then you sell. So it is a very structured plan. You'll never get lost. You'll know exactly where you are. You'll know what the next thing is. There's no more guessing. You get the complete training valued at $9.97, all the recordings, audios, transcripts, PDF guides, templates, and yes, even swipe files. We do have a private members only group. My team and I will be working hand in hand with you guys if you decide this is for you on building your list, growing it each and every day, putting all the pieces in place, etc. My student, Jackie, says, having Kim on hand to guide and answer questions made all the difference in the world. Jenny says, after committing to the training, Kim directed me step by step through the process. And by going through the process, I didn't get sidetracked. Kim was always very involved in suggestions when I got stuck. And not only will you have access to my team and I, but you also have access to some bonuses. I love bonuses, and there's a lot of bonuses chalked into this training. But I wanted to touch on the big ones. Lots of times the design process for a landing page stumps people. Well, I'm going to take that away. I'm going to be giving you a pre-designed, done-for-you template. So all you have to do is edit the colors and the text, and you're in business. It is a proven formula. The layout is proven. It does convert. And then we're also going to throw in a bonus, which is a nurture sequence email template. So when somebody gets on your list, you've heard it before, you got to love them up, right? But wouldn't it be nice if you had an automated sequence for that? Well, you're going to have that. I'm going to give that to you. And then this is probably the biggest bonus and the biggest value add. I think this is worth the price of admission right here. So often we don't know what to send. And so often we don't build relationships with our list. We don't know how. So no more stressing over what to send to your peeps. I've put together an entire year's worth of relationship building ideas for you. I think this is going to be super invaluable as you work to build relationships with those that say yes to being on your email list. And there are a couple of fast action bonuses. If you decide this is for you, you will also get how to rate emails that, get people at clicking, how to use quizzes. That's a more advanced strategy, but how to use quizzes to build your email list. And then if you decide you want this and you pay in full, you're also going to get my professionally written by a copywriter promotional email series templates so that you can promote your stuff as well. So just reiterating everything, you'll get the entire training. It's valued at $9.97. The private members Facebook group where the community happens, the accountability, the access happens, that's valued at $9.97. You'll get the professionally designed landing page valued at $6.97, the professionally written nurture sequence valued at $2.97, and then that jackpot bonus, 52-week relationship building email content plan valued at $9.97. All this stuff. But honestly, you get the plan. You're never lost. You'll know exactly what has to happen next and in what order. And the value is over $6,000, but we're doing this as a beta. So the price that we're asking for the list building to profit is $497. We do have payment plans, and you can get started today for as little as $157. Or actually, I think we just rolled out a brand new plan this morning. Payment plan. So I think you can get started today for as little as $97. If you're interested and you know this is for you, check it out at List Building to Profit because I think that for some, you're going to know that this is for you. For some, you might be still hesitant. And if you are hesitant, I'm going to be doing a Q&A tomorrow at 7 p.m. here on my page, my fan page, my business page. So bring your questions because I would love to answer any specific questions. And don't forget to ask your questions right now because I'm here and I will be here and I'll answer questions that you have today as well. One of my students, Robin Braley, says, I found this course to be excellent. I was able to go through it step by step, and I loved all the support, the ideas, and the templates. This course was step by step, and more importantly, I trust Kim. Honored that he would say that. But it saved him a lot of time, and that's the key with courses is you're learning from somebody who's been where you are, had to figure it out on her own and spent a lot of money to do it, so that I'm hoping that I can shorten your learning curve on this process. And Stu says the relationship building email templates ideas Kim shares are incredible. When I saw this, I nearly fell off my chair. I said to myself, oh, this is gold. It's pure genius. I mean, I never saw anything quite like it. He goes on to say this course was one of the best I've ever taken because I was in it from start to finish. And then Lynn says, Kim and team's generosity of time to come back and answer questions was tremendous. I love this model. This was such a value add. It's beyond. So many great students have come through this course already. And like I said, I was going to give you the ultimate freebie planning guide. So we'll make sure you get that. And I want you to know we're ready for you. Our first class, our first class starts on January the 5th, which is just a few days away. We wanted everybody to have a chance to not stress over learning until after the new year. We'll get you into the Facebook group, though, straight away. You'll have access to all the content. You'll be able to download it, save it, print it off. It's lifetime access to the content. And just curious, if you've ever purchased something, a course, a training, and you log in and you're just like, oh, where do I start? Or you think in the moment that you purchase it that you're going to do something with it, you just don't. I'm so there. I have so done that. So many times where I've purchased something thinking I was going to do it and then I just didn't. I think the difference in this course and some others is that there is accountability. There is a helping hand available to you anytime that you need it. You're not alone in this, just logging into some back end somewhere and you have a question, and you don't know where to ask it. You're not alone in this course. And I think that is what makes the difference. Time, as I know, is our most precious asset in business and life. And so often we know we need to do something. So we're Googling it. We're watching YouTube videos until our eyes bleed. But if you want to just know, you just want to go straight to somebody who's done it, knows what to do, knows how to tell you what you need to do in what order, then I got you. And it's much easier than you think it is. Especially if you have somebody explaining the process to you and taking the tech overwhelm away from you. Much easier to do than you might think it is. So you may be saying, can I do this? And you may be saying, especially if you're starting from scratch, maybe you don't have a whatever, but yes, you can. Anybody can do this at any point in their business, and at any point in their business, they probably should be doing this if they really are serious about generating revenue. So again, all the stuff, I won't go through everything that you get again, but all the stuff that you get. Oh, it looks like we have a small issue, but anyway, we'll discuss that in just a moment. You get the plan, all the fast action bonuses, the full pay bonus if you decide to pay in full. And then, of course, get started today at List Building to Profit. And we did just add that new payment plan. Rhonda just sent me a message saying that for some reason our buy button is not working. So if you are interested in this, just shoot us a message at support@kimgars.com and we'll get you taken care of. Okay. I apologize for the fact that we're having a tech issue. That's not good. But I hope to see you in the List Building to Profit course. And like I said, I wanted to make sure I answered any questions that we had or you guys had. And thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you got value from this. In fact, I'd love to know, what was your big ahas? Okay. I'm just curious. Okay, so Sherry's asking the fact. Okay, so I think what you're asking here is, so many people getting emails and they're not opening them. That's why it's so important when you first start list building to nurture up your people and build relationships with them, so that when you land in their inbox, they can't wait to open your stuff. They're going to be looking for your stuff. If you treat your people like a dollar sign, they're going to ignore a lot of your emails. Now, will every person on your list open your emails? No, I won't even lie and tell you that. That's probably not going to happen. And it's not necessarily because they don't want to open your emails. It's like life gets busy, and then they log in and, they have 100 emails and they're like, okay, you may get lost occasionally, but you're still going to have a much better chance of getting in front of your person and serving your person than posting directly on social and expecting social media to be the answer to your money. It's not. It's a numbers game in some ways, but it's also a relationship game. Excellent. I love hearing this. And Happy New Year to you as well. And same, Kathy. I hope you have a wonderful 2021. And we're on the cusp of it already. It's hard to believe that it is almost 2021, right? Let's see. I'm just trying to see what. Excellent. Lovely. Yeah, I think I've often said that the money, everybody says this. So let me back up for a second. Everybody says that the money is in the list. You've probably heard it. Shoot, I've said it. But I think it's a little bigger than that. I think it's the money and the relationship is in the list. Because, when people raise their hands and say, hey, here's my email address in exchange for whatever, that starts them on a journey with you. And how do you pull up beside them, hold their hand and give them, help them in any way you can? Or do you let them come on your list and flounder, So the relationship is super important. And I think that's one of the values of this course, is that I'm very focused on those relationships. Like, I give you an entire year's worth of ideas so that you can really focus on building the right relationships with your people. They're not dollar signs. They are people on the other side of those email addresses. And it's a relationship. It's a friendship. How do you, like I say, somebody joins your list. How do you come alongside them, hold their hand, connect with them, give them value, relate to them in some way? It's just super important. All right. Well, like I say, I'm hopeful that if nothing else, I've intrigued you and kicked you with love in the butt to where you are ready to list build in 2021. You need to be moving people to a place you own. So, hey, Nancy, I hope you're still here. I'm so glad to see you too, girl. We need to connect. All right. All right. Well, sounds great. Well, listen, guys, like I say, I hope that 2021 brings a list growth strategy to your agenda, your strategy, and more importantly, to your bank account. Okay. So take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Have a wonderful and blessed and safe New Year. I'll see you Monday. No, I'll see you tomorrow evening if you join me at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Stay safe.